Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Shoaib Ahmed. This video is on how to select PhD area or PhD topic. Though after completing master, it's not easy to select PhD area or PhD topic because that PhD topic or the selected PhD topic must be justified, original and new so that you should not face any issue related to plagiarism when you would submit your thesis. This is a very tiring, this is very sententious, this is very tough, hectic process to select PhD area and to take PhD topic. So I am here to guide you how to select PhD topic or how to select PhD area. Now I am going to start a new series in which I would suggest you new PhD topics, new PhD area. This is the first lecture in that series. Here, this lecture is on the literature of the human right. So this is a very new area, this is emerging area. Though researchers or research scholars have already worked on the idea of human right, but they have mainly worked in the field of sociology, political science, history, and in another departments. But in the literary departments, there are a lot of scope to work on this complex area, this socio-political cultural area. In the department of Urdu, in the department of Hindi, in the department of English, you can take this area to get your research proposal accepted. And another thing that is very important, we do not have much material available on this emerging area related to literary narratives. And that is the best thing in research. If you do not have ample research material, that research topic would be fresh, original and new, and your research would be new and remarkable. That would be an initiative work, that would be a great work. So as this lecture is on literature of human right, I would like to tell you what is human right or what is the literature of human right. The literature of human right is that literature that talks about human right, that talks about justice, liberty, equality, fraternity, about human life. The literature of human right has germinated the seeds of equality, dignity, and liberty to bring the natural justice in society to make a society peaceful and balanced. This literature tries to grow a tree that can give the shade of happiness and equality and liberty to all human beings. The literature of human right is an amalgamation of three disciplines mainly. It is a combination of the social ideas, sociological ideas based on justice, democracy, nationalism, identities, self, culture, gender, discrimination, and political concept of human right, political ideas of right and justice, and how to defend right, and how to demand right, and how to vindicate right, human right. And from history, we trace the history of the human right, how the scholars from the ancient times have tried to spoke on, had tried to discuss deliberately, judiciously on the human right, the complex issue of human right to create a civilized, humanitarian, libertarian, democratic society. So first of all, I would like to give you the renowned name from the Stoic philosophers, those who talk about justice, equality, dignity, and courage in terms of human rights. The first Stoic philosopher is Marcus Aurelius, who talks about human right in terms of justice, human natural right. And another is Epictetus, who also talks about human right in terms of dignity. Cicero, Cato, Anaximander, these are the Stoic philosophers who talk about, or Epictetus, these are the Stoic philosophers who try to spoke on the human right and try to create a peaceful society. Then we have Greek philosophers, those who try to bring rights for each and every citizen in their society in Athens. They were the political writers, they were the sociological writers, they were the cultural writers. And we have pre-Socratic writers like Pythagoras, an examiner who talks about liberty, equality, justice, human right. They were concerned about how human life should be preserved in a society. Then we have Socrates. Socrates develops a new art to discuss human right and human life in terms of dialogue, in terms of questioning. He has the method of question to create a peaceful society, a society where everyone should be treated equally. And that tradition was followed by Plato and Aristotle. So Plato talks about justice, liberty, equality, courage, imitation, natural human right. And then Aristotle was his disciple, his student, who also discussed, and he is considered the father of political science. He talks about the polis. Polis is a term that has been taken from politics, which means the small city state. And he talks about the right of the people, the citizen in the small city state, and how to preserve their right in a society. So he was the first systematic political philosopher or politician who developed a different discipline as a political science, and in that he discussed about human right, and he tried to debate on human right and how human rights should be generated, should be defended in human society. So he was the first who systematically germinated the seeds of human right, and he was also a literary writer who also wrote poetics, but he also wrote political uh, ideas. He also wrote on political ideas or the political books. Then we have modern sociologists who fight for or who vindicated human rights through their theories, through their ideas, through their concepts. We have Emile Durkheim, we have Max Weber, we have Auguste Comte. So Durkheim, Comte, Weber, Karl Marx, Frederick Jameson, Johann Habermas. These are the writers, those talked about human rights, liberty, equality, fraternity, and they developed new ideology to talk about human right, to develop human right in the society and to create a peaceful society. So we have some other writer, Anthony Giddens, Benedict Anderson, and we also have contemporary writers like Eric Hobsbawm, who talks about nationalism, liberty, equality, revolution event in society. Eric Hobsbawm, Anthony Giddens, Benedict Anderson, Johann Habermas. And we have Nelson Mandela. He is African activist and political leader who fought for justice and liberty for the African people, and he raised his voice against apartheid in Africa. And we have Abraham Lincoln's speech on freedom, that is a defense of human right. We have Nadine Gordimer. She also worked as an activist through her writings, and she fought against apartheid and anti-humanism, or she fought for humanism, Nadine Gordimer. And we have some Indian writers like Mahatma Gandhi and some other writers like Will Kimlicka, Benedict Anderson, and some other writers, those who talked about the liberty, equality, and fraternity. And we have also been influenced by the French Revolution, the three concepts, liberty, equality, and fraternity, that also developed the idea of modern human rights. So we have, now we can take the writers when you would analyze your thesis, when you would develop your thesis, the literary writers that you can take. So these are the political writers, these are the social writers, these are the cultural writers, these are the Greek writers, the Stoic writers, through which by taking their ideas, you would know the history of human rights, how the debate and the discourses of human rights have been developed from the ancient time to the present day. And we have writers now, the literary writers, the contemporary literary writers, from where you can take writers for your thesis. And I would like to suggest, if you are taking writers, if you are taking this area or taking topic from the literature of human right, I would suggest you take only two literary writers, or four text or two texts would be enough. Do not take more than two writers, or at least, or maximum you can take three writers and three texts or four texts. Do not take more than four texts. And if you find that this lecture can help you to enhance the quality of your research, or to help you in your research journey, to delve into the deep in the ocean of literary. To get the literary gems, kindly subscribe this channel to stay updated with my latest content that I have been exploring for you people. So the writers that you can take to develop your thesis: number one, you can take from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from India, from Sri Lanka, from some other countries. So we have Kamila Shamshi, she's Pakistani British. We have Mohsin Hamid, he is Pakistani British. We have Hanif Qureshi, Nadeem Aslam, Bina Shah, Tehmima Durrani, and some other Hanif Qureshi. You can take these writers. These writers can help you to develop your thesis, because these writers talk about human right, liberty, equality, fraternity in the contemporary time. And Mohsin Hamid has also written some critical books on identity, right, human right. And you can also take writers from India like Neil Mukherjee, Arundhati Roy, Zumpa Lahiri, or Sahir Ludhianvi. Sahir Ludhianvi had also written poems on the human right. He also demanded the human rights. Although he has written songs, he was a songwriter and he was a great songwriter, lyricist. But he had also written on human right and human dignity and human liberty. So you can also explore Sahir Ludhianvi, Faiz Ahmad Faiz, Bashir Badr, and some other writers. But you are supposed to work hard if you are going to take this area. And you can also take Zia Haider Rahman, Tehmima Anam, Monica Ali, Khalid Hussaini. So these are the literary writers. You can take any writer from the list that I have suggested, because all these writers are less work from the perspective of human rights. Even you would not find any thesis on the literature of human rights. And now the time is when I would like to suggest few PhD topics. But these are the tentative PhD topics. As the time will pass, or with the passage of time, you can refine, you can embellish, you can develop your PhD topic with your readings. And you are also supposed to read the latest readings or the latest work published on this area. That will enhance the quality of your research, and your research would be 100% original, and you would find that the 0% plagiarism in your thesis. Number one, you can take a human right in select literary texts, and the text can be from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, or can be from the other countries. You can work on African American novel, Canadian novel, Austrian novel, but you have to read and you have to select. Second is, you can work on injustice and inequality to bring natural justice in select literary texts, and the text you have to select. And I have given you the list of the writers that you can take from these writers, even Rohinton Mistry, Rohinton Mistry, and some other writers. And another topic is to speak truth to power in the literary narratives. To speak truth to power, it's a great line, it's a big line, it's a huge canvas to question the truth and to demand for the human right in the literary narratives. And how you dare to speak to truth, how you speak against, how you speak to truth, how you speak truth, the ability to speak truth, to question the truth, as Derrida has discussed in his writings. Derrida, Foucault, Paul Deman. You can also take these writers as a theorist when you would develop the idea of power structure, power and politics, and human rights in the literary narratives. So third topic can be power and politics and human identity in the select literary text or in Indian text. And you can also take writers like Mahatma Gandhi, A.K. Abbas, Manohar Malgonkar. These are the writers, or Chaman Nahal. These are the writers who worked on human rights before independence and just after independence. They have written wonderful pieces on partition narratives, and in partition you can also raise the question of justice and humanity. And the women in the partition novel, women during the partition, or even if you would like to work on this area, there is a huge scope on this area, because the war between Palestine and Israel, you can also work on the representation of Palestine in the literary text, the text that has been that are emerging in the recent time, because the writers are writing on this war, the chaotic situation and the crisis. So you can work on women, gender, and war in select Palestinian writings. children and war and old people, medical facilities, medical and human values during war. So you can take some other topic, and that is gender equality in the literature of human rights. So these are some of the topics where you can take your research area, and you can select your research area, and it will help you a lot to develop your thesis. So take care, all the best, bye bye.